I have bought some great books this month. Hello everyone and welcome to another paperback journey where today I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing my very first book haul. I've been watching book hauls for years and I love it. I don't know what it is, but there's something exciting. There's something, I don't know, some sort of childlike wonder of seeing someone reach down, pick up a book and reveal the book that they've purchased, the book that they're going to read, seeing if I recognize it, seeing if I've read it. Anyway, I'm not going to do a big thing, but I'm just saying I'm excited to do one myself. It's probably going to be a little bit clumsy because I've never done it before, but anyway, let's get started with the first book. Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Probably a lot of you already know this, but I've been going through the multiverse of the Dark Tower. I'm not sure if this is linked in any way. I don't think that it is. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just becoming a really big Stephen King fan, and I saw this at a 50% discount, and so yoink, I had to grab it. The next book that I recently purchased is Cold People. This is a book that's been on my radar for a long time. I was waiting for it to come out, and then it came out in a hardback edition, and I don't really like hardbacks, which is kind of like, well, the name is called Paperback Journeys. I definitely prefer paperbacks. I pre-ordered it when they gave the release date for the paperback version. Lovely, isn't it? It's just better. It's just better. Paperbacks are better. Basically, this story is all about an alien invasion that forces humanity to move to the coldest climate on Earth to avoid annihilation. And I love a sci-fi. I think this is going to be something special. I'm really excited to read it. Third book is Bear Town by Frederick Backman. This novel explores a small community in Sweden. It's like a small ice hockey team where the whole community is surrounded or captivated by this ice hockey team. Listen, I'm not a big ice hockey fan, but I do understand the effect that sports can have on a community. It's not just about that though. A tragic event, which I don't know what happens, but there's a tragic event that happens in this book, and it completely divides the community. I really loved A Man Called Uwe, also written by Frederick Backman. It was so heartfelt, so authentic, and Backman is just one of those writers that creates these characters that feel real, that are emotional without being sappy, without being overly sentimental. Whenever there's a character that is clearly feeling something, but they can't express it, they can't express it in the way that they want to, it gets me every time. Listen, I'm ready to cry. Cry like a man, but cry. Okay, next up is A Visit from the Goon Squad. This book follows an aging punk rocker and his young apprentice as they navigate the music industry. It's supposed to have a kind of unique structure of interconnected stories. What I'm expecting from this book is, just one of those that fill you with pathos and a longing for the past, to go back to, when everything seemed possible, back to the good old days where you were young and you had your whole life ahead of you. And that kind of thing, as I'm coming up to 40 years old, I know I'm not old, but I'm not like a teenager anymore. I'm beginning to have those little feelings, and I want to feel them through the lens of another character, some aging punk rocker. By the way, it says aging. If he's my age, I'm offended. Next book is Swan Song. That was good how I did that. And I caught it the right way up. Oh, yes. This book that I purchased recently, I purchased because of you people. In fact, a few of you recommended it. This is set in an epic, sprawling, post-apocalyptic world in the wake of a nuclear attack. And I can't wait to dive into this kind of rich, complex narrative and experience the resilience of the human spirit in the face of devastation. That's what I want out of this book. A lot of you compared it to The Stand by Stephen King. The Stand by Stephen King is my favorite Stephen King book. So if this is as good as that, then I owe you one. Next up, we have How Not to Be a Boy by Robert Webb. I love Robert Webb. I love Peep Show, if you've ever seen that. It's like a British sitcom. This book is meant to be part coming-of-age story, part memoir, and part exploration into the theme of masculinity. As far as I understand, this book challenges what it means to be a real man, you know, and how sometimes that idea can hold you back from expressing who you really are or who you'd like to be. I remember back when I was at school, people would kind of treat you differently if like you like to read. What, you like to read? No, you shouldn't read, you should play football. Listen, I like to play football, but I like to read as well. And that might be seen back in those days as a bit girly or something like that. So I think those ideas are kind of changing, but Robert Webb grew up in the same era as me, maybe a decade earlier. But I think this will be fascinating to read, and I know it's going to be funny because it's written by Robert Webb, and he's brilliant in Peep Show. So really excited to read this one. I think it's going to be interesting and different as well. The next book that I purchased this month is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This book follows the main character, Jess, as she's an American woman. She needs a fresh start, so she moves to be with her brother in Paris. But then when she gets there, her brother is missing. And so she's surrounded by a world of Parisian luxury. On the back, it's a really quick one. It just says, meet the residents of number 12, Rue de Amance. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. A beautiful old apartment building in the city of light. The socialite, the nice guy, the alcoholic, the girl on the verge, the concierge. Everyone's a neighbor, everyone's a suspect, and everyone knows something they're not telling. Juicy. The next book is Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. So this book is about two children who are raised by their grandparents until their father is released from prison, and then their drug-addicted mother comes to collect them and take them to the prison so that they can visit him or collect him on his release date. They're traveling across the dangerous American South. I mean, I live in the American South, so I'm not saying that the South is inherently dangerous, but I think in this book it is portrayed in that way. It seems like this is filled with family drama, danger, tension, all the stuff I love. Next up is... you can't win them all. In the Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. This is a psychological thriller set around a weekend getaway in a glass house in the English countryside. Say no more. I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm sold. Also, it was only 60 cents. So, I mean, what am I gonna do? If you're selling this book with this synopsis for 60 cents, I'm having it. Next up is this chunky boy. 100 Short Stories from Ray Bradbury. I think this is perfect for when I just want a quick, imaginative escape from the real world, which is quite often. Let me know how I did on my very first book haul. It felt like I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me to do. So when I buy another bunch of books, I'll make sure to share them as well. I'm going to be reviewing all of the books that I just shared with you. If you'd like to see another video from me, then you can click up here. See you in the next one. Thanks for joining me.